Welcome to the Future of Real Estate, your chance to find out what's going on in real estate and the real estate market. This morning's show is brought to you by the Ellis team at RE/MAX Realty Group. RE/MAX's award winner for most transactions in Florida.
With the Ellis team at RE/MAX, it's a family affair. Always call the Ellis team, they'll handle you with care.
Welcome to the Future of Real Estate. I'm Brett Ellis of the Ellis team at RE/MAX Realty Group. You can always reach us on our website, which is basically www.topagent.com, or you can always call us at 239-489-4042. I'm usually joined by my mother, Sandy Ellis, but she's out on an appointment today. I said she's out in Alva, which is a little bit east of here, so she's probably not going to make it. But I do have 3 or 4 things I want to tell you about today. I've got some news items we're going to tell you about, and then a few weeks ago we talked about pricing, and we have this graph that we share with our clients, and I thought that'd be a good thing to kind of educate our viewers about is that pricing target. So we did bring that in today. So first of all, let's get to the news. Basically, flood insurance. It's a problem again for the 3rd time this year. The Congress has let the flood insurance lapse. So as you know, in Southwest Florida, most of, or if not all of, Southwest Florida is in a flood zone. And certain areas in flood zone A and whatnot needs to be covered if you're buying a home and getting a mortgage. And a lot of our areas is in that zone. So if you don't have coverage, you're not going to be able to close on your loan. Now, there is a workaround to this until Congress gets their act together. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's going on with Congress. If the seller has flood insurance now, a lot of times you can transfer that policy over. You can't do it with homeowners insurance, but you can do it with flood insurance. So that's one way to get your closings together. The reason Congress has let this lapse for the 3rd time this year, and it's becoming a big problem, is because there's a number of bills, and they're arguing or deciding upon which is the best way to extend this program and move forward. In the meantime, a lot of people are getting caught up, can't get flood insurance, which means they can't get their closings. Buyers are impacted, sellers are impacted. We need to fix that right away. At least put some kind of stopgap measure in to extend it until they pick which program they like the best. So that would be my recommendation, and I think that's the National Association of Realtors' recommendation as well. So that's the update on flood insurance. Definitely news you need to know about. Second of all, the condo law just changed in Florida. Governor Charlie Crist, 3 days ago on Tuesday, just signed into law. It was Senate Bill 1196. And basically, in the past, homeowners and condo associations were only able to go back 6 months on a lender and say from the time they foreclose or start the foreclosure process 6 months prior and collect unpaid assessments. Well, a lot of these associations are really going practically bankrupt because they're not able to collect those fees that they need, and all the other owners are having to absorb those losses. So Governor Crist essentially doubled that on a homeowners association from 6 months to 12 months, or 1%, whichever is larger of the mortgage debt. So essentially, these associations may double what they collect from the banks. Now, I don't know that it's wise to go after the banks because, all the banks did was lend money. The homeowner defaulted. It's the homeowner's fees. And now you're coming back to the bank who already lost the money, has to foreclose, and now all of a sudden has to pay for those homeowners fees. I agree the whole association shouldn't have to pay for it, but why should the bank have to pay for it either? I mean, really, it's the homeowner association. But I know everybody wants to grab straws at somebody, and the banks are an easy target right now, kind of like BP is. So, but I don't think banks are always the bad guy. And in fact, the risk is when a bank goes to issue new loans, they may say, hey, wait a minute, we need to price this differently because if we ever do have to foreclose, we could get stuck, not only for the losses, but also for up to a year in condo fees or HOA fees. So you got to be careful what you wish for sometimes. And then the other bit of news, you've heard of the HOFA program, the short sale program, and it stands for homeowners. I can't even remember what it stands for, and we've talked about it so many times on the show. But anyway, I've got a list of lenders, a long list here, 3 pages full of lenders that are participating in the program. Bank of America is one, Aurora Loan Services, Bank United, Chase, Home Finance, Citizens, Farmer State Bank, kind of going through the GMAC. Let's see if Wells Fargo's on here. Wells Fargo is on here. Wachovia. See if Suncoast Credit, Schools Financial Credit Union. So basically, if you've got a question on here, we've got the list of who's participating in HOFA. Now, it still may be dependent on who the end investor is, but the banks themselves A lot of them are participating, so that's good news. And then lastly, what I want to do is kind of get into, before we get into our hot properties, I want to talk about the pricing target. Now, agents, if they're doing their job correctly, they should have a pretty good handle of where properties are priced. And they'll do what they call comparative market analysis. Or for the banks, they call it a BPO, which is a broker price opinion. And they'll come up with their best estimate of where this property should sell. Now, in some markets, you've got markets really on the move, either on the upside, which we used to be, on the downside, which we kind of used to be. We feel like we've bottomed and we're kind of bouncing off the bottom and kind of going up. But some markets are really in flux or in transition. So it's kind of hard to tell where it should be priced. And in some areas, there's a lack of comparable sales. Maybe there's just not many homes in that subdivision because there weren't many to sell. Maybe it's unique, it's riverfront or it's acreage or whatever, and it's just there's not a lot to go by. So you're kind of like saying, boy, I think it should be here, but ultimately the market decides where it really should be. So you bring a property to the market, and we like to think we bring them to the market at the right price every time. But there are some properties that the market just doesn't accept. They say, yeah, it's a nice home, and based on the numbers, but there's something about it we don't like or whatever. So we send out this letter, this graph, to our sellers. If you're getting showing activity, it's kind of an indication what the market is telling you. So if we can go to that graph, I thought we'd go to that and talk about, where we stand with this. And basically, if we're getting offers, we're probably priced pretty darn well. If we're getting, so we might only need like a 2 or 3% price adjustment if we're getting offers. I call it being the bridesmaid but not the bride. If you keep getting asked to the dance, you want to be the one that goes to the dance. You don't want to be the one that's in second position all the time. So if you're in second position, you might need just a minor price adjustment, maybe 2 or 3%, and that'll put you right there where you're the bride instead of the bridesmaid. Then we have on the target here, let's say we're getting showings but no offers. You're probably, statistically, nationwide, you're probably about 4 to 6% off because you're getting the showings. People are at least interested. They want to go in and see what's there. Now, if you're getting drive-ups and a low number of showings, so they drive up, they look around, they say, boy, at $200,000 or $100,000, whatever the price may be, this is a nice home, but it's not kind of what we were expecting. So they drive up and then they walk off. That may be about a 6 to 12% adjustment. So you don't want those. And then if you get drive-bys only and they drive by and, they're just not interested, you may be as much as 12% or more overpriced. So, over our career, we've been doing this about 25 years, we've had a few that were drive-bys only, and we knew we were overpriced. And that's the ones where you don't have that good data, or one where you're willing to take a chance because it was in such pristine condition or the waterfront was so unique or something. But, the market will eventually tell you someone is willing to buy it or they're not. And if they don't buy it, then you need to make a price adjustment or take it off the market. And that's where we are, especially in Southwest Florida, and I suspect in a lot of markets throughout the country. Remember, all real estate is local, but you got to price it right. And the quicker you price it right, the quicker it's going to sell, and usually for more money. When a property gets stale and stagnant and buyers begin to wonder what's wrong with it, you end up taking less for it than you otherwise would have if you priced it right in the first place. And a lot of sellers get caught chasing the market down. If the market's moving down, they overprice it, and the market's really here, but they priced it here. Okay, so when the market goes down 2%, they're that much overpriced, so they reduce 2%. And then the market goes down another 2%, and they reduce 2%. They're still this much over the market. So the quicker you get to the market, or in a declining market, I like to get right underneath the market, so you're the first home gone. You want to be gone, because you don't want to leave yourself open to chance, because if you're not the first one gone, that market may continue to move, and it moves without you. It's like a train leaving the station. You don't want to be left at that station. Now, in an upward rising market, if the train leaves the station and you're overpriced, the train will eventually get to you. But in a declining market, the train leaving, and it's not a good feeling. So anyway, that's our pricing target. It's a little bit more about pricing. I'm Brett Ellis of the Ellis team at RE/MAX Realty Group. You can always reach us at 239-489-4042 or visit our website, which is topagent.com.